All right. We are back here. It's Song of the Day coming to you from the Rock Cave. I'm your host, Mark Pierce. It is Wednesday, another Wednesday, Wanderlust Wednesday, where we try to throw some tunes at you that you might not be familiar with, or a band you may not be familiar with. You know the drill. We're covering three bands today, all along the same vein. And so we are going to British pop, synth, electronic music, that kind of thing. I don't even know where to start, but one of the names you're going to know because of his one hit. We'll save him for last. But there are two bands that I only became aware of because of First Wave and listening to Richard Blade, and he's like plays these two songs, these two bands, and he's like he talks about them and talks about how great they were and all stuff, and they come on, and I'm like, how on earth did I not know about this? This was not a thing over here in the United States. So first and foremost, the band Blancmange. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Blancmange. Anyway, these guys, pop synth-pop duo formed in London in 1979. And for perspective, 1979, bands like Depeche Mode formed in 1980, Human League 1977, Pet Shop Boys 1981, and Soft Cell 1977. So that's what we're looking at here, right? So these guys were on the early side of that, doing this electronic stuff, this synth pop stuff. They had 4 singles in the UK top 20 in the early 80s, from 82, 84, and by the time 86 came along, they were no longer together. But you listen to this band and these songs, and you're saying to yourself, now I can totally see where these bands, especially Depeche Mode and Human League and Pet Shop Boys, I can see where the influence is or where that came from, and I don't know why they weren't as big, or these songs weren't as big. I mean, they were obviously big in the UK, but they didn't do anything here in the United States, and I'd never heard of them ever at all until satellite radio, so the last 15 years. And he still plays them on his show pretty regularly. But the songs you need to listen to, Don't Tell Me, that's my favorite one out of all of them. That's just a great song. That's right up there for me, because I have a love for this kind of music. But also worth checking out is Living on the Ceiling and Blind Vision. So those are the 3 songs you need to hear from that band, and tell me what you think. Next up is this band Visage, another British synth pop group formed in 1978. So right, 78. These guys were 79. They are known for one song. I mean, they had 5 top 30 singles in the UK, 2 top 20 albums, but they were also done by mid-80s, 85. One of the guys in this band, Midge Ure. Midge is like a play on the word of his given name, Jim, backwards. But he co-wrote Do They Know It's Christmas? How about that? That gave him some money in the bank, I'm sure. But their song is Fade to Grey, released in 1981. And the other thing you need to know about this guy, Midge, is that he was involved with Thin Lizzy, touring and playing, and also Ultravox. But anyway, Fade to Grey, 1981, number 1 in Germany and Switzerland, top 10 in the UK, number 1 in the dance charts in the United States. So but didn't chart in the Billboard Top 200. But this song is totally cool. I love this song. It's got English words that are sung and the same words that are then spoken by a woman in French. But this is just fun. You can listen to this and you're like, yeah, I totally see it. I know what all these bands are doing. And so these guys also must have been like, what's going on here? Why are all these other bands doing so great? And why aren't we doing this great? But Fade to Grey, that's the song you got to check out by them. All right, next up, the godfather of electronic music, Gary Numan. Yes, the same Gary Numan that you're thinking of, but he's so much bigger than what you're thinking of, the song Cars. Now, the song Cars came out, I remember when I bought that 45, I wore that out. I loved that song Cars when it came out, 79. And you hear that song today, it's you hear it a lot. A lot of people are tired of that song, and they don't play any of his other stuff here in the United States. But he's got a big following. He sold 10 million records, still around. and he's got a cult following. But he was in this band called Tubeway Army that was formed in 1977, again, UK. And they had he was there for 2 albums, 1979, and they had a hit. But the hit came out while he was kind of forming his own thing with some of these members of the band. And the name of the song is Our Friends Electric. That went to number 1 in the UK from his solo record, The Pleasure Principle, 1979. 6 months after this, Our Friends Electric came out with that, he had that solo album, and it went to number 1 in the UK, like I said. So then he kind of merged the band and got some other guys playing. But he is the pioneer of electronic music, and he did get some flack for that. He got made fun of. The musicians didn't know what to make of him with his like no electric guitar, his like android personality, the way he did his music, and just kind of a weird guy. But he has stuck around, put stuff out. Very well respected. As a matter of fact, 9 Inch Nails, Trent Reznor, huge fan. But from this record, The Pleasure Principle, not only do Cars is on there, and you're going to hear the same idea of Cars on some of these things. You're going to hear some of the same noises in the background stuff, but I think there's some as good or better songs on there. And I couldn't even get this record when I wanted to get it on CD. I couldn't buy it for a long time. I had to finally got it on an import. Remember, you just couldn't, think about that. You just couldn't play whatever you wanted whenever you wanted. You had to try to search this stuff out, and this stuff was not available domestically here in the United States, and you had to figure out if you could order it as an import in the UK. I ended up buying it while I was in London, along with my Madness CDs, because I couldn't get it anywhere else. But the songs you need to know from this record are, other than Cars, Metal, one of my favorites, and that's the one that 9 Inch Nails, Trent Reznor does. Wisdom brings them out on the stage in the last 10 years, and they do it together, and it's pretty amazing. I'll post that below. The other song is Conversation and Complex. Those are the 3 you need to know from there. But he does do Metal and Cars with Trent Reznor, which is pretty freaking awesome. Gary Newman, still around, the godfather of electronic music. So those are your 3 assignments for today to check out my songs of the day. 7, almost 8 minutes. Sorry guys, but there you go. That's what you got. Let me know what you think. Play some of this stuff. And as usual, I'll catch you on the flip side.